Jessica Ave N, Communications Manager with the City of Brooklyn Park. I am here with Inspector Elliot Faust from the Brooklyn Park Police Department to provide a briefing on the emerging situation coming out of the 72nd and Zane Ave incident.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. The purpose of this press briefing is to provide some information on a tragic situation that has occurred in our community this evening. At 5:07 this evening, our officers were dispatched to a shooting in the 7200 block of Zane Avenue North. The shooting actually did occur on the street on Zane Avenue at that in that block. The officers were dispatched to a shooting with two individuals down. When officers arrived, one individual was found to be deceased. A second individual was found to be in critical condition. That individual in critical was transported to the hospital and is currently at the hospital as we speak in surgery. The condition of that individual is unknown. Both of the victims were males. At this time, we don't have a whole lot of information about these folks, so we certainly don't have identifications or anything like that to provide you at this time. We don't have an age, and we don't have a physical description to provide. There were at least two suspects involved in the incident. Both fled the scene on foot. Our officers conducted a very extensive and thorough ground search on foot and using technology such as drones and helicopters. The suspects were not located and no one is in custody at this time. We currently have numerous investigators that are working on this case and will be working on it throughout the night. There's a lot of evidence to work through, and the scene is quite large, and so we have quite a bit more work to do out there, and so folks will be out there throughout the evening finishing up what has to be done. We do believe that there are several witnesses that may have information about this incident. There's a good possibility that there are folks out there that may have witnessed it firsthand that are no longer available for us to talk to, so we are encouraging anyone with information on this incident to come forward, either by calling 911, calling our non-emergency number here at the police department, which is 763-493-8222. And of course, if someone feels compelled to come up and speak to us in person, we will be available throughout the night to meet anyone that has information on this. But we do believe that there are folks out there that did witness this, and so we encourage anyone with information to please come forward. And I will stand for questions.
Was it felt that it was a random act? Did they know each other?
Yeah.
Relationship?
There's not a lot of information to provide on that. We're sifting through a lot of evidence right now, and there's no indication either way.
So is there a threat to the public?
There's no one that's been taken into custody, so there are at least two suspects that are responsible for this tragic incident that are out still in the public. They left on foot. We searched the area very extensively for hours, and we don't believe that they are still in the area, but we don't know where they are.
It's a densely populated area. What was your concern with that type of gunfire in that area?
Well, unfortunately, that area has been plagued with a high level of violence, and we had officers that were actually in the area just down the block that immediately responded to the call. And so we were very close by, but given the dense population, given the fact that it's Halloween, we wanted to put every resource that we had available to us in motion to make sure that the area was as safe as we could make it.
Have they seen any security camera footage that could kind of help in that, or anyone with a doorbell or anything like that?
Yeah, our investigators have canvassed the area. We've identified several residents that may have some footage. There's a process to work through that and get it off the devices. And so at this time, we don't have any photographs or anything to show or to share, but we're certainly working very hard to sift through that and collect all that evidence.
You said the officers were nearby. How long was the response time?
Response time was 10 seconds. There was an officer that was just down the street at a local community center. He was just randomly patrolling. Reports that he did not hear the gunfire, but upon that 911 call, he was right there.
Were life-saving treatments administered to the
Yeah.
deceased?
So the officers that once they got there, it was found that the individual was deceased upon their arrival. And so they focused their efforts on the other victim, who was in critical at that time, obviously in critical. And so there was the majority of our efforts were put into making sure that that individual's life was saved and was transported to the hospital still alive, and to my knowledge right now is in surgery.
Was he able to communicate at all when he was
No.
taken in?
I'm not sure if you said this before I walked in, would you believe this is random, or do you think they knew one another?
We touched on that. We don't have any information to share on that right now. It's going to take us a little bit of time to work through all the different pieces of evidence and make a judgment call on that. But I don't feel comfortable saying that they knew each other, that they did, because it's very unclear at this point.
Do you need him to re-summarize?
Are you gonna send out a written release?
Yes, I will.
Okay, well that's okay.
Is there no description at this point for the public to?
Yeah, we're not able to release that at this time. Again, there is a lot of evidence that needs to be worked through, and it's just not appropriate for me to release that. If I felt that it would be important for the public for safety purposes, I would release that. But at this time, I don't think that there is a danger to the public in that neighborhood, and so we're gonna continue to confirm some of this information before we release it to make sure that it's 100% accurate.
Is it frustrating for you as an officer and an inspector to have this kind of violence continue in that neighborhood and keep it not as safe as it should be?
Well, I mean, it is frustrating for all of us. We work very hard to make sure that the entire community is safe, and we've put incredible amounts of effort into that specific geographic area. We've made a lot of strides. An adjacent apartment complex that has had a lot of issues over the last 3 to 4 years is experiencing a 50% decrease in violent crime. So we've made a lot of strides in that area, and so it is frustrating when I know that we've got that progress and that momentum going, and then this type of thing happens. And so we're frustrated as officers, and I can only imagine that the community is just as frustrated.
Is there any concern about retaliation of any kind for this shooting, or is it unrelated? Or
Well, not knowing the context that led up to the shooting, I'm not sure if I can answer that. We don't know what the facts were that occurred before, and so to say that there could be a retaliation would just be premature to comment on that.
We've got time for maybe one more question before I have to be the time cop.
Your agency has done a lot of work over there, like grills and barbecues with the community. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I personally spent many hours over at Huntington Place Apartments. This incident did not happen on that property, happened near there, but between that and the rec center, we've spent countless hours, made awesome relationships with the residents in there, and I think that shows. Tonight we obviously encountered a lot of different folks that came out to see what was going on, and they're all very, very supportive of our efforts. And so we have the support of the community in that area, and I think that the trust that we've built with folks that live down there really shows when something like this happens. We also deploy other resources like our violence intervention groups and our youth outreach groups. Both were on scene tonight within a matter of minutes. They're probably still down there right now. And so, having those relationships already built with the community and the residents when a tragic thing like this happens, we can all come together and work towards a solution, or work towards a resolution to this tragic incident. And rather than working in different directions, we immediately unify and make progress, and that's what we believe in. And it's taken a lot of work to get there, and it's taken a lot of hours to show the folks that live down there that we're out here for the right reasons, to serve the public the way they deserve it. And so those efforts will continue, but there certainly has been a lot of work put in from everybody, myself included. So.
And you're finding changes in a positive direction with those kind of efforts?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Are you finding positive responses with those kind of efforts?
Yeah, I mean, the landscape in our community has changed a lot over the last 3 years. I don't think that we had those relationships built 3 years ago. I don't think that we would have had the response. As a matter of fact, I saw a different response, and so I think doubling down on our efforts to improve the relationship with the community, to build that trust, allows us to get out there and really do the work that we need to do, and then get the help from the community at the same time. People know what happened tonight. People probably know who the bad people that did this are, and we need the help of the community to come forward, because we can't do it just ourselves. And so that's my message, is that we're doing all we can to build the trust, and I think it is paying off. And it's moments like this that we all need to come together and encourage the folks that know, if you know anything, come forward and help us, because we can't do this alone.
Can we get your name,
Sure,
spelling, and
absolutely.
title again?
Yeah, of course. My name is Inspector Elliot Faust. First name is spelled Elliot, last name Faust.
Thank
Thanks.
you.